I'm just turned 50 and I've been navigating this wonderful roller coaster ride probably for about 7 years now with very little information about menopause and perimenopause. What got me through it was self-awareness, my personal growth and development and spiritual growth journey is still getting me through it. In fact, I'm still getting hot flashes. I'm still getting dizzy spells. I'm still not sleeping well. And it's cyclical. For someone like me, I like to be in flow, but I feel very safe in flow when I have a structure. It's impossible to build a structure when during this perimenopause phase, your flow is literally unpredictable. It's all over the place. It's been through my practice of self-awareness. And in my practice of self-awareness, there are many different layers to that. Mind, body, and spirit. It's literally about knowing yourself and doing that through what I feel is the high quality curiosity. Constantly asking why. Constantly, and I'm going to be the rebel, constantly challenging the status quo. Up until the 1970s, all data was just done for men.
Mm-hmm.
And up until the 1990s, it's predominantly for Caucasian women. But in this specific topic, as Southeast Asian women, we are underserved in this topic of midlife, menopause, and perimenopause because there just hasn't been enough data.
Yeah.
It really proves that we must remain curious because we are a society that has become way too dependent on data. We're so trusting, and trust is a beautiful thing. I'm not saying don't trust. What I'm saying is don't give away the trust you have for your own awareness. Don't give that power to someone else. We can still trust an expert, trust an authority, but what we must do is measure that, discern that against our own barometer. What has been happening for generations is that we've been giving up our own authority, meaning we've lost connection with our bodies, we've lost connection with ourselves. We are wholly dependent on somebody else telling us how we are. I'm going to make this so simple. I've not been well this whole week. My throat is itchy, runny nose, achy body, sweats. It's not my perimenopause. In this case, it really is a cold. Once upon a time, I would have been like, oh, I'm not well. I must go to the doctor. Let's see what the doctor tells me. I don't need the doctor to tell me I have a runny nose and a cold. This may seem very bombastically simplistic, but my friends, it is that simple. We go to the doctor at the drop of a hat. We go to the pharmacy, we go to the chemist, and we look for medication at a drop of a hat. But I think it's about time that we started to go back to finding the natural remedies, the remedies that exist within our bodies, the capacity our body has to heal itself. How on earth did our ancestors survive generations on plant medicine, on natural remedy, on Ayurveda, on traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, flowers, herbs? How did they do all that, survive generations, for us to be dependent on taking a chemical, or for us to be dependent on somebody else's advice for us, somebody who isn't living in our own body? And I'm not diminishing the power of science and medical knowledge. I have doctors in my family. I have high regard for people in service, especially in the health industry. My question to you is, how well do you know yourself? How connected are you to your own body? I'm guilty of this. I'm so connected to my body. I feel everything. My aches, my pains, the works. But my nervous system is incredibly dysregulated because I feel it and I overdrive. I ignore it. How many of you here listening, watching the replay do the same thing? Oh, I have this ache. I'll manage. I'll see to it later. We put everything before us. I'll see it to it later. I'll see to it later. Right? So that is the basic level of self-awareness and curiosity. I'm going to invite every single one of you watching this. Can you, from this moment, start to ask the question, why, to yourself more often? Oh, this hurts. Why? This hurts. I think I better go to the doctor. Why? I would like you to start questioning yourself. Because when you start to question yourself, you start to notice the patterns you live on autopilot. Are you in the driver's seat of your life? Or have you just created a whole library of programs that run on autopilot. Now, hey, listen, I'm all for life hacks. I'm all for things running smoothly and efficiently. The thing is, my friends, we are evolving every day. There are no two moments that are the same. And therefore, in every moment, we, you, me, all of us here, we are different. And if we're different and evolving, in every moment, those routines that we have created, those highly effective programs, rituals, strategies that we've created to make life easier, suddenly become out of date because we've evolved, but the strategy is the same. We've changed, but the ritual is the same. So we get stuck. We get stuck in a loop. But also there's a dissonance because our physical body is running in this loop of what we do every day, in and out, the same thing. When I'm sick, I do this. When I don't feel well, I do that. When my body aches, oh, I take this supplement or I take this painkiller. We do the same thing. But the physical body actually needs something different. We're not listening anymore. We're not paying attention anymore because we're no longer self-aware. So that's my gripe. That's my passion, is the medicine in us, and it starts through our self-awareness. 73% of women blame the menopause for a breakup in their relationships. That is heartbreaking. I find that so incredibly devastating, not just for women, but for all their partners. Not just for women and all their partners, but for the sacred cycle of the menopause. There's a whole spiritual and energetic layer that comes with the woman going through this stage in her life. This is the stage where we transition into our highest wisdom. But because there is a lack of awareness, there is a lack of information, there's a lack of education on this topic, we as women, instead of really coming into our peak, we are diminished. We are diminished by the lack of information. We are diminished by the lack of support. We diminish ourselves. The thing is, once we're self-aware, we are more able to communicate to the people around us what support we need. As women, generally, we're not great at asking for help, right? Because we're so used to doing everything ourselves. And that's a whole other conversation of self-awareness and women empowerment that I like to talk about. Why do we not ask for help? What is our conditioning that comes from the way that we were parented? How has being a woman being modeled to us by our mothers, by our grandmothers, by our great-grandmothers, by media, by the educational places that we studied at, by our peers? Another reason why we don't ask for help is also because we don't really know what help we need, because we live in a man's world, right? I mean, I'm a feminist, absolutely. And I'm a feminist for all the right reasons. I'm a feminist because I want to live in a world that isn't equal, because it can never be equal. Why can it never be equal, anybody? Because men and women are different. So let's stop talking about an equal world when we're not equal as humans. We are different. So let's start serving the differences. I want to live in a world where we honor our differences, a diverse world. Now, rather than champion and complain, I use that word very broadly, and be an activist, and I'm nothing against activists, that criticize what's not working, I'd rather look at what's not working and see how I can be part of making it work. And I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm intending that all of you here watching this want to be part of that change. Because complaining doesn't change. Action changes. And through information, through the power of community, conversation, storytelling, right, we can bring forth that change. Through the power of communication with compassion, the power of sharing what your struggles are, so that people like me and all our other guest speakers are going to come in this series together, we can bring more information in and embody the change. We're not just talking about it anymore. And we're not just doing, we're living it. We're breathing it. I'm going to encourage every single one of you, please be selfish. Please care about yourself. Please care about making your health journey an absolute priority, because it's so easy to forget, but it's so, so true, right? When you have a home and the woman is happy and healthy, everyone is healthy. Healthy, that's a cross between healthy and happy. So please be selfish. Think of yourself. Be here for yourself. Show up.